All right. Good morning. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Wanted to go over this Blackjack 24 with the TFL outboard that I fitted onto it. Why I did it and why I really don't run this boat that often anymore. So, this is a basic Blackjack 24 hull. I got it as a replacement hull, and it was empty inside and it had no hardware. All it had was the mounting tray. What I did is I bought this TFL outboard and I started fitting it onto the boat. Step by step, I realized the transom wasn't strong enough. I had to reinforce the transom from the inside. Then I realized that the tune on the outboard for the trim was not enough, because this transom right here is actually not a level angle. It is kind of leaned, I would say about like 75, 80 degrees, something like that. So what it does is it keeps the outboard trimmed up and you're having a hard time trimming it down. So I added the TFL mounting plate. Then I put some spacers in there to get the trim at level, and I tuned the shit out of this boat. It took me a while. I ended up setting the battery up here, right over here, running a basic Fly Color 150. By the way, this motor that comes in here is a 3660 with a 2070 kV. Runs on a 35-inch monohull, basically, from TFL. So this boat is light and small. So this guy right here is basically like a big block for it. It moves the shit out of this boat. 4S is a little too much for it. You can't really run higher than 4S because of the lower unit on the outdrive. It is not a flex cable. Let me flip this boat around. It's not a flex cable. It is a geared unit with gears. And what tends to happen is you got to maintenance this lower unit a lot. Meaning you got to pull it out, you got to grease the inside, you got to put it back, you got to lube the two bearings inside and put it back. And the issue to that's not even a problem, but the issue to that is that these machine bolts that machine into this aluminum right here, the thread ends up stripping, and it ends up not having a tight seal. You end up getting loose, you end up breaking shafts, you end up breaking bearings. It's happened to me. So eventually what I did is I retapped and rethreaded all these holes with a bigger diameter. I think it comes with an M2. I think I went with an M3 or M4. Either way, I tapped the holes so that now every time I pull it out, it doesn't strip and it seats nicely. So yeah, that's it. But it is very high maintenance. So every time I actually bring it home, I pull the lower unit, I pull the shaft, pull the bearings, re-grease it, shove it all back inside, and close it back up. Because if you don't, water is going to get in there eventually. And eventually that water is going to rust your bearings out and, you know, fail your lower unit. And that's not fun. So that's kind of the reason I really don't run this boat that often anymore, is just because it's super high maintenance. It looks cool, and I am not feeling repairing this lower unit anymore. So yeah, it's cool and everything, but you know, I would say that the flex cable outboards are significantly better than this. They can take more power, and the reason for that really here is that there's a rubber type of drive dog, kind of like a rubber coupler that connects the electric motor to the lower unit shaft and gears. With that said, that rubber if you overpower it, it'll just rip. Whoop. And I've ripped it on 4S. I've ripped it on 6S, of course. But I've found that this boat and this hull, for my enjoyment, if I really actually just want to go and have some fun and run some ovals, it runs about, you know, 30, 35 miles an hour, but consistently. It doesn't flip. It runs nice and dry. It runs nice and loose. So, you know, it's very, very, very fun to drive. And that's what we're going to do today. Since it's a slow day at the shop, I came home. I figured I'd talk a little bit about this girl, get her all prepped up and ready. And that's kind of it. Oh, and real quick, the marine grease from Dynamite is, I would say, not the type of grease that you want to put in here. The consistency of it is not as waterproof as a type of water-resistant marine, marine grease. And this is like specifically made for bearings, parts that get mud in it, and all that kind of stuff. And I think OSC sells something along these lines in a smaller can, but this is the stuff. I use this for all my boat trailer bearings. I use it for the grease in my steering on the boats, on my real boats. So yeah, it works very well. I'm very, very happy with it. So with that said, let's shut this video down before I start rambling too much and start talking politics and get to the lake, right? So we'll see you guys there. All right, stay tuned. All right, we got here to the lake. I'm gonna run this boat, but first I'm gonna run the hydroplane because I need to take the receiver out of the hydroplane. All right, we're good. Lower unit does not sound the best, to tell you the truth. I don't know, maybe I didn't put enough grease in it. Maybe I didn't set the lash right on the gears, but we'll do a quick run because people have been asking for it. So tape her up and we'll throw her inside. Stay away from these fishermen, stay away from those fishermen. Everybody's harassing us left and right, but try to get some good views of the boat. So it's been a while, so let's bear with it. Let's see how she does. And I knew it. I knew it. Under load. That rubber collet ripped. I can hear it. Get the rescue boat and pull this thing out. Sorry guys. Really wish it would have been better. Yeah, that's not happening. All right. We'll give her a quick check and see what's happening, but I do believe it's that rubber coupler from the motor to the lower unit. Let's see what we got. Let's see what's happening here. And that's it. Yep. Looks like I did a bad rebuild. Gotta take it apart, see what I did wrong. All right. See everybody back at the shop. Well, in the garage.